Hi, Larry.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. The pass rush, what are you seeing there? Seems like it's not up to your guys' standards so far. Just what are you seeing from the pass rush from your guys?
There's a lot of things that we have to improve on. You know, we have to win one-on-ones. That's the biggest thing. When you chip the first game, Oregon, we got a lot of chips. And then second game, we just got to win one-on-ones. You know, opportunity present itself. We talked about that. I don't think it's a technique thing. It's just that when you get a one-on-one in slide protection or max protection, you got to try to win. And so we'll address that. We'll get better. Our kids understand that. It starts with me. So we're going to get it cranked up and get it going.
Tyleik Williams seems like a guy that's really come on as a true freshman. What have you seen from Tyleik, and what's kind of his future, do you think?
Yeah, he's been a work in progress. You know, he came in really heavy. He lost weight, lost over 25 pounds. Now he's where we want him to be, and he's starting to show what we thought he would be. Athletic, very athletic, had great quick movements, and he's starting to turn into a good player. Played 21 snaps last week. We hope to increase it as we go forward, but really looking forward to what he's doing.
Third row left, Colin Hass-Hill, 11 Warriors. I'm sorry, Griffin Strom,
Yeah.
11 Warriors. Wait a minute, I'm not.
Yeah, Coach, Brian talked a lot about how, with things kind of changing with the defense, Kerry Combs obviously going upstairs and whatnot. Has your voice been kind of louder, or how have your responsibilities changed over the last week or so?
Just help put the game plan together, just more input in the run game, make sure that we're solid in the run game, and just more force. And then we got a great coaching staff. The coach made a change and asked me to be more involved in the daily operation of our defense, and that's basically what I'm doing. Matt's done a great job, and the whole staff, Kerry's done a great job on top. But that's my role right now, just kind of continue to be a voice as we go forward.
Also curious how Zach Harrison's doing, and also if JT is going to continue to earn a lot more snaps after some impressive plays made out there this past week.
We hope Zach is going to be fine for this week. JT, as always, you start freshman slow. You bring them along, and last week was the biggest week, played 45 plays. And we'll continue to increase that, probably up to 50, 55, depends on the game. But yeah, we like to see more from him as we start to go forward.
Right next to Griffin, Dan Holt, 11 Warriors.
Larry, for you, when they make a change and Matt's calling the plays and Kerry's up in the box, does that change anything from your perspective, just in kind of how things work?
Not really. It's just we have a game sheet. I know Zach was going on. I got a headset on here to call, so we always gather after each series on the sideline, just kind of go over the calls, go over the call sheets, go over the run game, the pass fits, and so that's really about the same. Kerry's upstairs, great eyes of vision, great information coming down, and so we get a chance to share that information and try to put our kids in the best position to play.
From your perspective, how do you feel like the communication of a defensive staff has been? What are maybe the things you guys have had to improve on over these first few weeks to make things smoother?
But first of all, be professional. We understand each other. There's no issues in the room. Coach Day walked in and said, "Here's what we're going to do." You just, as a professional, as a coach, you just move forward as fast as you can and try to get everybody on the same page, and that's happening right now. Kerry's been outstanding. Matt's been outstanding. And we got a lot of guys in the room. Al Washington, Paul Rose, those guys have done a great job working as one unit and one coaching staff on the defensive side of the ball.
And you mentioned that Tyleik's lost a lot of weight. Do you know what his weight is at now?
He's about 317. He came in at 340 something. I won't give you the something, but but he's down at 317, and he's got a great spirit. He works hard, and it's starting to show exactly what he can do. And I'm proud of where he's at right now.
Second row right, Austin Ward, Letterman row.
If you say something, we have to assume it's the higher side of 340. So when you look at as good as you thought JT could be in his career at some point, were you surprised by how much you're playing him or what he's giving you through 3 games?
Yeah, I think the thing was just kind of see. I think the first thing was he came in great shape, and that was a bonus. And he's got a really high football IQ, which means that he understands the game a lot. He's a great study of the videotapes. He studied it a lot. He meets with me all the time, watch the videotapes. So that advanced really quickly. And then the ability to have the physical tools to play on the field, understand our defense, has really pushed them ahead. And that's the kind of thing I like what's going on right now, that we're able to push them ahead and get them ready as we go down the stretch in the game. But he's done really well.
I think Jack may have drawn one holding penalty or could have drawn several when he was out there. Are you seeing that same sort of trend upward with them? I
do. It's not about, it's about practicing, and then it's about playing time. You just can't say, well, I'm ready to go. You gotta go play the game, and that's what they're finding out. Just surprised at JT first game, you go, wow, yeah, it's a different game than that. So just trying to understand it, get up to speed, playing faster all the time, and that's really something that is a work in progress every time you have a young player in the field.
Second row left, Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Kind of with those two, I think just from the outside looking in, if you would have looked at the snap count and expected who was going to be playing more between those two, you probably would have assumed Jack, just given how much longer he's been here. Not to compare, but to compare him a little bit, what has allowed JT to maybe take some of those further steps that Jack hasn't taken
JT, a
yet?
bigger guy, he's 270, so he can play on the tight end. I'm not saying Jack can't do it, but he can play on the tight end really well. He's real physical in his skill set. And he's got some really good technique that he came in with, and we're just trying to enhance that. That's different. They're two different players, they really are. And JT is a powerful, I say this all the time, he's a real power young man. And Jack is a finesse player, he really is. He can use his hands, he can rush. And he a guy, he's got a lot of confidence in the ability. You put him in the right spot, and he'll make a play. And that's kind of who he is, so I kind of like his attitude.
When you're a young player trying to get on the field, how important is maybe being able to stop the run as quickly as possible?
That's critical. And you want to have a chance to have success early too. I'm really careful about not putting young players in position where they have a mistake made in the game that kind of haunts them for a while. So you won't see too much of them in the red zone unless we really need them. Just to kind of create a positive and really some impact them to be really confident in their ability to play, especially going forward. But they're both done really well. I'm really happy where they are.
Right next door, Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
Hardly any veterans graded as champions from this last game, and that's including some important people that you have up front. I guess just what was your reaction to that?
My grade is really tough to get to being a champion. You gotta meet all the standards. It's more than just playing. It's just technique and everything involved in the game is more important to me. And it's just guys making plays. And making plays is really cool. And I think that's what we should do, production-wise. But also, there's technique things you have to be improved on. And I just felt that. Tilly played really well for a guy that played 21 plays. There were some guys close to being champion. I just felt that I just needed to see more.
Ty Hamilton's someone that we're seeing a lot on the field, and he's someone that you guys I think were talking about going back like even last spring. What's kind of breaking through to push him?
I think in the last couple of games, you're starting to see what he can do for us inside. He's a big, strong guy. You can't knock him off the ball very easily. And he played really well on Saturday. And so his role will increase as we go forward. But I like where he's at right now.
Back row left, Brendan Gulick, Buckeyes Now on Sports Illustrated.
Coach, thanks for the time.
Yeah.
You've played quite a bit of depth all across the line. We've certainly seen flashes from a lot of those players, but you see them really regularly. Among your group, who is rising to the top that you think may see increased, more consistent playing time going forward?
I think Talik's the guy that stands out right now. He's going to probably see more time. Of course, JT and Jack's going to get more time as we go forward. I'm hoping some of the young ends that I haven't seen a lot of, like Jacoby, Cowan, Take, Camarte, can get involved. Also helps out down the stretch, just a rotation kind of guys. But I'm really pleased with progress. And then I said earlier, Ty Hamilton is really starting to come along. Cage, we're starting to get back now, so he's back involved. So we're hoping he can improve also going forward.
And just from the standpoint of trying to generate pressure, I feel like when there are instances where the defensive line is not speeding up the quarterback's clock, it's really hard to cover somebody for 4 or 5 seconds, whether you're a DB or a linebacker.
No doubt.
How much is your group taking pride in trying to get to the quarterback more quickly to help out the back end of the defense?
Yeah, everything starts up front. And like I said every time I run, it's not what's behind us, what's in front of us, and that's us. And we have to find a way to generate that. The quarterback to hold the ball, 3.4 seconds, not a good deal. That means we got to get to the quarterback. We have to affect his throw. I thought early in the game, the quarterback started at 7, dropped to 9, threw the ball. It's a long haul to get to him, which is, their scheme is a little bit to what they want to do. But no excuse. We got to get to the quarterback. Our guys know that. My room know that. I know that. I don't sleep well when we can't get pressure on the quarterback because that's what we got to do. And if we do that, we'll change the game. We'll change the game immediately, and that's what we're going to do going forward. But to find ways to get to the quarterback. That means changing personnel, putting the right guys on the field, get it done. But the bottom line, you got to get it done. It starts with him.
Second row right, Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Larry, when you talk about the pass rush and the need to win more one-on-ones, what needs to happen for your guys to do that?
What was that?
When you talk about the guys up front and getting the pass rush need to win more of their one-on-ones, what needs to happen for them to win more of those?
It's technique. I mean, really, it's technique. You're still trying to bull rush a guy, use your hands. And you can't bull rush a guy the whole entire game, think you're gonna push it to the quarterback flat. So it's back to the basic fundamentals that we teach, is use your hands, use your hips, and get really speedy off the line of scrimmage to make it happen, you know. So I think those are the things that, it's gonna never change getting to the quarterback, how to rush the quarterback. They got a good plan how to do that. We just have to continue to execute the plan to get there.
And you're playing a lot of young players on the line with JT and Tyleek and Jack. Going into the year, like, what was your expectation level as far as the pass rush for the first couple of games? Did you expect maybe it was gonna take some time for it to come along? How have they kind of like met your expectations going?
Yeah, I think it takes time. You just can't throw a guy in and say, hey, he's gonna be up to speed right now, the rush pass from college football. His technique, his development, understanding scheme, understanding protection is a real key. And people do different things against us, you know. We got chipped, and we get chipped a lot if we're up on the edge, so we gotta change what we do there. So there's a lot of factors, but for a young guy to go in and feel ready to go, I mean, he's gotta have a good skill set.
Got time for just a few more. Fourth row middle, Doug Lamreese, Cleveland.com.
Larry, I know Teron didn't play much last week, got knocked out early, but in general, you have played Haskell and Teron together sometimes inside. What goes into your thought process of when to play them together, maybe when to play a more traditional nose with one of them? What's that? How do you make those decisions?
Well, when you do that, you really kind of change the flavor up front. You know, they both have the skill set to play nose and three technique. And so you try to take advantage of that in the game. You know, a guy may go down, and so you put the next best player in that position. So the next best player could be Haskell at three technique or Teron at nose guard. So you kind of create a two-way go player. So you still going on the road, so having 4 D tackles, now you have 6 because you have guys who can play both ways. That's the balance of what we try to do. And then we try to find a spot where we know they're really comfortable playing at as we go forward. But it's a good change up for it. It helps us on the front four. It builds depth in the sense of what we're looking for. And then we get to third down, we decide who's going to be where as we go forward. But that's the reason why we're doing that. Try to build depth.
And then this is looking backward, but I'm sure you learned some stuff from it. The Oregon game, it seemed like at times you did have some ends who were crashing inside, moments when you guys got beat on the perimeter. Were those guys doing their correct responsibility at times, and there was something in what their assignments were that allowed Oregon to get outside, or were there times when maybe you guys were getting too far inside?
We got a call that it was sent them inside, so it was a base call that we had, and it allowed them to rush inside. It was like a stunt that we ran. Just so happened the ball got outside of us. I was trying to redirect from it, but it wasn't a pass rush move. It was a movement stunt that we were using.
Right next door, Pat Murphy, 24/7 Sports.
Larry, following up on Doug's first question, just the interior of the defensive line, which we don't talk about a ton, but that group as a whole, how have you evaluated their play? How much can that group still take a jump?
I think all can improve. I think that's we're not where we want to be. That's obvious. They've done a great job. The first goal is to have a chance to rush the quarterback. You got to stop the run, and that start with those guys up front. If they can't rush the ball, then we have a chance to push the pocket. So we got to do a better job pushing the pocket, getting the hands closer to everybody. It's 4 guys working together. It's not an individual group. It's 4 guys who have to understand how to close the lane, how to push the pocket, how to cage the pocket. So now we got a chance to surround the quarterback. So just understanding that process is key.
Back row right, Spencer Holbrook, Letterman Row.
Larry, when you have Tyreek and Zach and Javonte and Teron and all this depth on your defensive line, and it's all veteran guys, are you ever surprised when you look out there and you send 3 or 4 freshmen out there at once to do the work?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, when you have to do that. Since freshman guys out there, those guys are great, but that's where we are. Our depth is what it is. We have some veteran players, and then we have some young players that need to play. And so we try to find a way to do that to get those guys ready. It's a long season, as you know. We got a lot of football left, so I'm just happy that we can get them ready. But as we get into the season, get into the Big Ten conference schedule, we're going to need those reps as we go forward.
Tyreek was a guy that not a lot of people knew about in terms of recruitment. It's kind of surprising me, I guess. What did you see out of him? Did you think that at almost 315 in high school that he could get down there?
That's a good question. But in high school, he was 280. I saw him in high school between 270 and 280. Really great looking young man. And I was really impressed with his ability to move the ball. Then the pandemic hit, and a like most people who sit around and ate and have fun. And he must have ate too much. So when I saw him for the very first time, when he showed up here on campus, he was 3+. And I was like, wow, what happened? And, but if you start running and moving around, everybody in the building go, wow, this guy can move for a big man. And you just gotta get in shape, gotta get in conditioning. And that was the biggest challenge for him, getting in condition to be able to play at the speed that we need to play at. So he's there now, so now we should see some things going forward.
Final two individuals.
I can just think one quick thing. Can you give an update on Mike Hall, where he is in his progression? Because
Yeah.
he's another guy who not a lot of people talk about very much.
Yeah, Mike is close. Mike's is really close to really getting the feel. You know, we just don't want to waste this year yet. We've been playing the 4 games before we decided to redshirt him. But he's close. You know, he's close. Mike's he's a lean guy. He's 270, 275. You know, we're trying to get weight on him, you know, to be honest with you. But he's going to be fine. I mean, he's going to be a good player. He's really energetic, really powerful. So I like where Mike's at right now.
And last two individuals. Second row middle, Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
Hi, Larry. Ohio State's been blessed to have generational talents in the Bosas and Chase Young. You've got a lot of 5-star guys, 4-star guys, some older, some younger. Is the struggles with the defensive line, at least not having the dominance that people are used to, simply a factor of not having a Bosa and a Chase Young, because those guys are just so rare?
Well, I mean, you're talking two different, those guys are special athletes. If you go back and when they first started freshmen, you saw flashes, but you didn't see the flashes there where they were until later in their careers. You saw Chase take a shot, sophomore, junior year, he takes off. Freshman year, he was a good player. And the same thing, I didn't coach Joey his freshman year, but Nick was the same thing. We part-time Nick until he was ready to go. I think it's a process you go through. I don't think anybody can walk in and say, hey, he's ready to go, plan. I'm hoping someone can do that. But to me, it's a process, how you grow. When you get to that 3rd year, there should be flashes of who you're supposed to be. If it's not, then we've done something wrong, coach it up. And that's what I coach, so I believe in the system to get that done. So I don't think it has anything with, really, you'd love to have another first-round draft pick, but we have those guys, they're here. We just gotta continue to develop.
I mean, are you, I don't know if disappointed is the right word, are you concerned that the unit as a whole has not been as dominating as I'm sure you'd like it to be? Or is it just this is just the way it is in the process?
It is in the process. I won't use the word disappointed because that's not a good word. I think that there's room for improvement. And that starts with the guy standing in front of you. We have to find a way to improve their skill set and get them going. And that's what we're gonna work on. We'll spend all day and night figuring it out, why. But we'll get it fixed and find a way to get those guys going forward. They got a lot of pride in the room. They aren't sitting around, being smiling every day. They know that we have some work to do. We gotta go to work. So that's how you fix it.
Sorry about that, Coach. And final questions, far left, Jared Smalley, WCMH.
Related to that question.
Yeah.
Tyreek hasn't flashed as much as I think maybe some people thought he might to start this year.
I'm sorry, who?
Tyreek.
Yeah.
With the experience he had the disappointment coming off last year, missing the title game.
Yeah.
Where do you see him right now, and where or is that disappointment at disappointment, but that expectation for him high, trying to get there? How is he managed that?
I think he's got the talent. He got the depth, it's talent, very talented player. But like everything else, is like I said before, it's a process you have to go through. So it depends on, I don't want to put any pressure on him, I don't want him to put any pressure on himself, but we just got to continue to work at it. We're not going to shut it down because he's not getting to the quarterback. But if you watch it, you got to see the game from a different level. I see the game close up because I am in a room coaching, videotaping. I can slow it down. I can see exactly what's going on. You see it for a brief minute, and that's your observation. My job is to find out why. Why is that happening? So you see a guy running from sideline to sideline on the field, playing extremely hard. That's the thing that really jumps out when you watch him play. Now we just got to fix what he does when he gets to the tackle. Are we doing the right things there? Are we, we're too tight? Are we too high? Are we too far inside? So those are things I think you can coach and fix. But certainly you love the way he plays because he plays really hard. And that's something probably no one talks about because when you watch Lever runs around, he's running sideline to sideline, pretty much every play, hustling to the football. So we just got to find a way to continue to improve it because the skill set is there. It's all there.
Great. Coach, thank you very much.
Thanks, Larry.